Welcome to Pro Se Lawsuit Center, where we provide affordable, battle tested, non conventional legal weapons that you can use to start the court process without an attorney. I'm Coach Neighbors, and in this video, we're going to review the updates to the residential property tax lawsuit package, and we're going to also talk about the workshop coming up, the residential property tax breakdown workshop, where we show you what the real numbers are on both sides. And anybody that comes to the workshop and can tell me what the most expensive thing is on the list, they'll get something free. So that's what we're gonna do on that. I'm Coach Neighbors, and we about to roll. This property tax package. Okay, so before we get to that, we want to talk about the strategy that we use to stop the court process. Now, we figured out how to keep it simple because, the other stuff and complicated the mortgage and all the steps and how many times you got to change the stuff in court, all that stuff was getting a little ridiculous. So we just figured out, since the state is the one that's attacking you and the state is the one that's paying the judge to take your stuff or lock you up in jail, and the state is the one that's paying the attorneys that they sent to help you, and the state's also paying the prosecutor that they sent to take you. Yeah, I think I got that right. Okay, so it's not going to do any good in their conventional system trying to do all that stuff, prove all that stuff. You need to start at the gate. At the gate. That's what we started at the gate. Now, what we've learned how to do from the real-time feedback is to cut to the chase and add the people that's So we just like to stop the state court process and get on out of there and get your lawsuit filed over in federal court and then serve those people. And then you're going to order the federal court judge you're going to demand federal court judge order them to a settlement table. Because they can't respond to nothing that you filed in. They cannot respond. State court players can't respond to federal case law with statutes and codes. No, and they can't respond when you add them to their own action using the counterclaim, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. You add them to their own action, $200 million on the counterclaim that you get in my package. That comes if you get the package, you get the counterclaim and the lawsuit. We use the counterclaim to get the money damage on the table, stop the state court process, and then you get your lawsuit filed in federal court. But and when you head it over there, you want to take a certified copy of the state court docket sheet. Docket sheet. I said sheet. Sheet. I better leave that one alone. You want to take a copy of that with you over to federal court. And now you're arguing that your due process was violated. They violated the Tuckers Act, the Foreign Agent Registration Act. They violated this stuff last week. They violated your due process. That's what makes everybody's stuff the same. People are telling me, but mine is unique. Yours, no. They violated your due process. They violated his due process. They violated my due process. They violated everybody's due process. And until you learn how to go after them for why and not waste your time arguing the what, you're going to end up getting kicked in the butt. We've learned how to do that. We don't argue the why. We address the why. Why are they able to violate you so easy? Because they're violating your due process. So we're going to show you, I'm just going to show you the outline, and we try to add this in all of our packages. Now, when you understand this and everybody's stuff's the same, then that just cuts out all the pressure and overthinking and all of that stuff that you do in their conventional program, worrying about proving to the judge this or showing the judge that, just getting paid. Okay? So it don't matter what the hell you show them, they're getting paid. The only time that a judge getting paid gives a crap, and any judges can chime in and come to the stream or something or whatever, the only time that they give a crap is if they've been forced to visualize a shared liability. That don't happen very often because not very many people are in the non-conventional program. You just add them to their own stuff, and it's bam, it's a wrap. They can't litigate a case they're a party to. They can't represent each other. They can't represent. They can't represent anybody else from their. And if you want to be like butthead about it, then you could add the State Bar Association as a plaintiff. You add them as plaintiff to your counterclaim. You jam it in their face without having to serve them, without having to pay, without having to ask them for leave of court, which we don't do anyway when we want it, and without any of that. And now the case is done. Now you're out on a 50-yard line, maybe a little further. And get your stuff lined up in federal court. And then you want to order the federal court judge to make them come to the settlement table when they get there, okay? Because here's what you got. Here's what you got. They could not respond to federal case law and federal acts down there on the state level. They still can't respond to them on the federal level without having a federal bar card. Bam! Oh, you can get one. I dropped it down $25 on the website. You can get one from winningcourtnow.com. Get your federal bar card today. Okay, so they still can't respond. And I haven't heard of one single time that they got a federal attorney that was interested in, you know why? Because if I was a judge, I'd be saying, oh, hell no, y'all get that shit out the back door. And usually they give them a date. The judge gives them a date to get your ass under control. And then the attorneys will send you a notice. They'll mail you a notice in the mail that your pleading was deficient. A notice. It didn't go through the court. It ain't. They'll mail you a notice because they're not allowed to say any more in the case. So they'll send you some notices and see if they. Yeah, we'll talk about what you do about that too. So let's just do a screen share. And see what we're going to share today. Okay, this is what we're going to share right here. This is our counterclaim strategy, and we're trying to leave this in a copy of this in each of our packages, or we're planning on doing that. So the counterclaim strategy is basically what I just kind of outlined to you. You know, people get all nervous, and they got the package has this. This chops out all of that stuff that we were having to do in state court to stop the process. We're having to do this, move it, file a temporary restraining order, do all this stuff. Okay, we started stopping it by just adding federal case law to everything we filed, and they can't respond. So, but that wasn't quick enough. bam. Wasn't quick enough. Now, let me put it this way. It wasn't decisive. Now, that sounds like we're trying to knock him out. Let's put it this way. It wasn't painful enough. Because I like to make it painful, but I ain't trying to knock him out because I ain't done. So when we implemented this, we didn't have to file most of the stuff, and that's why we changed our business model. Now we have core documents that we're selling out of the four main things: the two property tax packages, the foreclosure package, and the prosecutor package. We're selling the main core document, the main documents for $149. Now you don't need $1,200 to kick the prosecutor's butt. You can get started, and any supporting documents are pretty much structured with the information from the core document. I'm just throwing it on the table. Now you can still get the whole package and go sit down and have a whole lot of fun without having to do a bunch of work. Okay, but if you can't afford the package, you can still have a lot of fun, but your ass gonna have to do a little more work, which is good, because if you don't do the work, you don't understand, you won't know what words to say when they're in your face, jacking with you on the Zoom call, on the Zoom crap, and The internal conflict jams up their system and stops the state court process cold. And the court cannot continue to issue orders or enforce judgments without further violating. So remember, at the gate, we talked about forcing them to visualize their shared liability. Those are just some of the titles that I use on some of the ads that I make. But yeah, you guys can see how powerful that is. Okay, so this is the residential property tax lawsuit package. And we're going to start out. Just taking this is the complaint for illegal property tax extortion, real estate deed fraud, and due process violations. Now, the property tax extortion, the real estate deed fraud is them not delivering your deed like their law says they're supposed to do. And, tax extortion is pretty simple. And then the due processes encompass the whole thing. So that's what that lawsuit looks like. Just on the front page. We're not going to show you all of it, but we're just going to show you the front page of it. So you can see that we're going to the table and we done our homework because we don't play. And then we also added the foreclosure the counterclaim injunction relief for fraudulent concealment due process violation under the Fair Debt. So the due process violation under 42 U.S.C. and then the Fair Debt Collection Act practice. This right here is pretty powerful, and it's skating around the mortgage fraud and all that stuff they want to argue about. I don't know if you noticed that. The counterclaim or whatever, fraudulent concealment is a federal doctrine that tolls the statute of limitations. Bam! Doesn't matter how long ago it happened. Fraudulent concealment tolls the statute of limitations, and they can come in, and it doesn't matter. It's a federal doctrine that tolls the statute. That's all. I like to use it at the front. And then come in with due process. Fine. We can add a few more things, but we're just trying to keep it simple. And you can see this is set up with placeholders. Everybody's stuff is the same. You just got to replace the information in the placeholder so they'll understand. You don't need to add your stuff, because when you add your stuff, you're adding the stink, and that's what they want to argue. Now, we put this in here for people that already are facing like a property tax lien foreclosure situation. And you still have the other lawsuit too. This package is on sale right now until the 1st of January for $200. You get all of the documents in this package for $200. It's crazy. I can't believe I haven't sold more. I don't know. People just don't know or whatever, because $200 to get your deed out of their office sounds like a pretty good. Oh, not only that, you get to sue them several times and make they ass sweat. Make them sweat. Sorry. Now, using the package is easy now. You just stop the state court process, hop your cell phone over to federal court, make sure you take a copy of their entire docket sheet showing that they jacked you around over there. Now, just so y'all can know that we don't play. We also added, and this is I didn't know. Oh, forgot about this. This is 3 lawsuits in this package. Oh, this is not good for me. Okay, come on now. The voices are working it out. 3 lawsuits in this package. As you got this one right here for wrongful foreclosure. Real estate defraud too. You can use this a second time. If you use the other one, you probably should take the. Well, no, this one here is for forgery, deed fraud, and due process violations. Oh, well, yeah, I forgot about that one. Forgery. The forgery happened after you signed and left the table, and they stamped paid to the order of on that puppy, and the bank vice president or Linda Green came along and signed it. Yeah, I forgot. This got 3 lawsuits in it. Shoot. I need to buy that myself. And I already own it. Okay, sorry. I'm bragging. All right, but you can if you got the fire. Now, this is the offer to pay letter that we included in this package. This letter is also included in the premium package that was at $1,500. I think it's down to like 900 or 1,200 now. But anyway, and this letter here, you're offering to pay as soon as they can follow the statute. The statute that they're supposed to follow when they call in the full loan amount mandates that they are supposed to provide you with the original instrument of indebtedness in its original form. And they can't, because they bundled that stuff up and shipped it to China or done something with it after they sold it a whole bunch of times and turned it into some illegal stuff. So they can't. So we serve them this letter. We send it, if you're already in court, we'll send a copy of it to the judge to make them sign for it or whatever. And you want to let them know that you're offering to pay as soon as they can come to the table with what the law says they're supposed to have when they call in the full loan amount. Now, I know you're saying, what's the college? Come on, coach, work with me. No, y'all ass work with me, all right? Because this is how this works. If you've offered to pay and you're on the record and you placed it in the public record, there's not a controversy. If you can't pay, see what I'm saying? It's not a controversy. There's no controversy if you've offered to pay. As soon as they follow the law, we use this for people who want to challenge their mortgage crap before they're in default. The offer to pay letter. Oh, yeah, this is brilliant. This is almost as slick as sliced white bread. Offer to pay letter. Then they want to drag you to court. Yeah, here's a letter I sent them, Judge. Your job is to make sure they're following the statutes, right? Right. So can you make them go get my damn deed? Okay, because they got my deed in their office, and the property transfer statute says they're supposed to deliver my deed to my house. But, Judge, my legal team said what they did was a constructive delivery and registered in the office. Now, I'm not sure if you know what a constructive delivery is. I'm going to assume you don't because I think you're honest. Okay, I got to slow that last line. Yeah. Oh, well, constructive delivery means that once they register, they're not going to ever talk about the fact that it was private property, your private property, before, And then once it's registered, that allows them to reclassify your property and property tax. But there's one other thing that happened when they registered your property. There's another thing that happened when they registered your property that allowed the first illegal lien to be put on your property. Oh, no, I ain't talking about the tax lien. I'm talking about everybody's property got the same shit. Work with me. If there were several people who own property, all of those owners would have to be at the table to sign that lien. Right? So the fact that they accepted the signature from y'all happy asses proved that you own the property already and I smell stink. But you know, I done my homework. I can break it down for you. All right? You went to the table, you signed, and then they didn't let you take nothing home with you to go put your deed in your Bible or in your firebox or under your mattress with your money or outside in the coffee can, wherever. They didn't let you do that. They kept it. And then after you left the table, they stamped pay to the order of on it. And usually a bank vice president or Linda Green, the robo-signer, there's a couple of other famous ones, sign that shit, and they process it through the Federal Reserve for electronic credits. Now, Modern Money Mechanics is a publication put out by these dudes who know way more about the fracking banking system than I do. They said that these fools, was granted 9 times the amount that went into a demand deposit account. 9 times the amount. And then they wrote a check for one amount to 9 times the amount. So that money was created, generated with your signature. Well, the second signature was done illegally, and they turned it into a security. And then they made a copy of it to mail to you to let you think that if you made a copy of a security and mailed it to them to make them think that they're in charge of, they'll be knocking on your door. They might not even knock, I don't know. Now, this is one I put together, used in my case for Mr. Kopecky, and we're about to get back over to Mr. Kopecky's situation. And we just put this in and have fun with, to strike the judge. Judge is not, it's not registered as a foreign agent in violation of federal law. And judge also violated 28 U.S.C. 636. Now, here is the residential property tax fraud lawsuit package. A regular $700 value on sale for the next couple of days. For the next couple of days. Don't call me later if you guys miss it. For the next couple of days. And right here we got one of our videos from Nikki Ross. Yep, that was one of the review videos we got from Nikki Ross that got. Yeah, that review video of Nikki Ross was what got us kicked off of Teachable. And you see right here the documents that you get. We just kind of outline them a little bit. $199. This don't sell for $199. And we have instructional video right there too that you can click on. We got the videos right there. You ain't got to go nowhere to see the fire right there. Go get them, coach. Mm-hmm. We got that technomology. Yeah, I'm just going out on this package. Ain't nobody. This package is undefeated. They can't. This package, they can't. When you come in with the facts, that's a wrap. There's no arguing. There's nothing they can do when you come in with the facts. When you the facts, that's it. It's a wrap. So we talk about the counterclaim strategy, the internal conflict that jams up their system. This is one of the most effective ways to stop the court action. And the counterclaim process can be used in your own stuff. You don't even have to be. You just add them to their own parties, and now we're not talking about whether or not you stated a claim or whether or not you whatever, because none of that matters. Because you added them. I don't think it matters. Because they can't answer. They can't litigate a case they're a party to. They can't. And I wonder why attorneys don't tell people this. Bam! Yeah, we figured it out over her. Because we got some people that's getting tired of getting punched in the face. So if you're getting tired of getting punched in the face, you know, you're getting tired of giving up that money for the property tax when, you know, when you get done getting educated, then I think you're going to see things a little bit different. And it's going to be a little harder to get that money out of the bank to go give these people when you can make them go sit their happy ass down. We got people in the program that have used this. They didn't get their deed, but they didn't get a tax bill either and haven't got one. And that's good, but, you know, they're still in the house and they're happy, I guess. I would be a whole lot happier to have my deed put where I want it so I don't have to worry about that shit no more. Okay, well, I tell you they're going to come back. They ain't gone too far. They're going to come back. Until you get your deed out of their office, they still have control of your stuff. And then you can see some other things that we got going on. Now, this here we got going on right here, and it's scheduled for the 10th of January, a couple of days before my birthday. And, you know, I started doing some work on this because the property tax keep going up everywhere. Everybody is going up, outrageously going up. How can that be? I'm like, well, the breakdown that I do, how I do my shit, is I have to understand. If you understand where the tax money's going, then you'll understand why the hell it's going up like it is. Do you know where your tax money's? Hell no, you don't. I don't think you do. I'm pretty sure you don't. Because I spent most of the day the other day, I'm not going to say how many hours because I don't want nobody to think I'm stupid, okay? Because I'm a little weird. All right, but see, here's the thing. to break down on the budget and all this stuff, it's missing shit. Huh. Where's the they have a jail. Where's the estimate for the medical costs for the inmates at the jail? The dental and medical. Where's the transportation, the cost for all, where's the court costs of hauling these, all those. Okay, how about the federal? Oh, yeah, we're gonna talk about this in the workshop. And when the workshop's done, you're gonna totally understand why the hell that your property taxes have been going up like they are. You're gonna totally understand. Totally understand. And if anybody can come to that workshop and tell me what the most expensive thing is that your property tax is going, the most costly thing, that's totally stupid. If you can tell me what that is, I'll let you pick something off the website. I ain't lying. I was just doing this little homework and I was going to make a blog. Oh, shit. We way past that. Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, no, this is a whole workshop right here. They've been taking my tax money. Not mine, because I don't pay, What are you doing with it? When you find out what they're doing with it, you'll understand why they keep going up with it. And you'll know what the hell you need to do about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they going to be really grumpy about this. And you know what? What I found, I had to go down the hole. And, I hear some people speaking Chinese. No offense against Chinese-speaking people. But I didn't go all the way to the end. After you get done, okay, if you're a noticer, after you get done, you start noticing other stuff keeps popping up in your head. Okay, what I study to bring to the workshop still ain't because I still got some questions. I got time to figure them out because the workshop not till 10. But I'm gonna have them all figured out, and they're gonna make sense. And that's what I tell people. If the shit makes sense, what the hell we need to worry about? Whatever, all of that. Let's get the shit done. And besides, none of this is going in my pocket. I mean, this is, but none of the crap that you're up against is going in. I don't have nothing to do with all that. Y'all know they don't like me. They've been following me around for a while. I got my own presidential motorcade. Yeah. We don't use those words where I grew up at because president never came to my neighborhood. Okay, anyway. Property tax lawsuit package is on sale for the last few days of this month. $200. $199. You could just round it off to $400. $200 if you want. Oh, I have ADD. My brain gets, but you know what? I got a bash from Amazon. All right, so I know what I'm talking about. Let's go.